Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode. And today we're talking to Celerity. And before we start, I want to just give out a quick warning and say that we're going to be talking about some cryptocurrencies with Celerity. By no means is this financial advice. Okay, we're not financial advisors. We're just giving our own opinion. If you're looking for help investing your money, you should look out and look for a financial advisor. Just wanted to give a quick warning before we get going. It's going to be a super interesting episode talking about a bunch of stuff, including cryptocurrencies. Let's get going. Chris, welcome to the podcast. Chris, aka Celerity, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself to our listeners?
Thanks. Yeah. So I go by Celerity on Twitch, and I mostly stream roguelites, indie games like Darkest Dungeon, Slay the Spire, Monster Train, Hades, games like that. Lately, I've been streaming balloons.
Yeah.
But mostly I try to stream games that have a lot of replayability and spend a lot of time on them and get good at them and just have fun.
You actually, I never told you, but you actually got me playing balloons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's
I
good.
don't know. It's pretty good. It's very addicting.
Right. I mean,
It's
I
really
was
fun.
initially I wasn't sure because of the aesthetic, right? Because it's kind of cute
Yeah.
and cartoony, but it's actually pretty deep too.
What's like your favorite game that you've played like recently?
I don't know if it's recent. I mean, for me, the most recent game that really stuck with me is Hades, and that was at the end of last year. So it's been almost a year.
Yeah.
And I played in early access too, but that's definitely like my game of 2020, and nothing this year yet has quite measured up to it. We've been playing a lot of older stream favorites this year mostly.
Hades is a good one though. I've
It's
played
really
it. Yeah, I've played it. I haven't spent enough time on it yet. Just haven't taken the time really. But it reminds me. Obviously, it's not the same. Like visually, it's kind of top down and it's not platformer, but reminds me of Dead Cells. And I really enjoyed Dead Cells when it released. I was never like a roguelite guy, especially not roguelike. But Dead Cells really transformed me, made me like the roguelike genre, and for me, like Hades really has a similar quality to it. I would say, I think.
Right on. Yeah, we played a ton of Dead Cells on the stream too. I would say those are two of the best action roguelike games that we played.
Yeah. No,
So
absolutely.
I try to play I only listed like 5 games, but a big part of the stream is that we try all the new indie games that come out. Pretty much try a little bit of everything, but usually only spend a lot of time on the stuff that's like the cream of the crop. Try to.
Yeah. I want to talk about your webcam or the lack thereof.
Okay.
I like to do that with just to get your perspective on it and the reasoning behind it, because we've had Dino recently on the stream who doesn't show his face either, and I wanted to learn more about the reasoning behind you not having a webcam when you're streaming.
I mean, I think it's really just a comfort thing. It's just that when I mean, at least for me, like when I'm speaking to my viewers and I have to think about like animating my face, like like making faces, making looking excited or looking because like sometimes I can be really excited, but if you're at your computer, if there isn't a person in front of you, if there's not physically a person in front of you, it's hard to like make yourself look animated. So you can be excited and say something excitedly, but your face is just like very blank. And so that kind of thing happens, and I feel like it's just very distracting to have to worry about that while streaming. I know some people do some people are VTubers, and VTubers even more so have to think about that because the avatar uses their
They almost need to exaggerate their expressions in a way.
right.
Yeah.
So they're constantly thinking about that. I personally, it's hard for me if there's not someone in front of me for me to do that.
Yeah.
So I tried it for a while. I used webcam for a while, but it just didn't feel right. So don't use one anymore.
to be honest, if I were to stream again, I think I would also do no cam.
Yeah.
I was, as a viewer, I used to prefer with a cam, but I really got, I really fell in love with some no cam streamers like you, like Dino, and I think that just I respect, if you will, the no cam decision more today than I ever did before. And I really, I really get it.
Yeah, there are a lot of people going no cam or like the VTuber route. Some people transitioning to being VTubers, you know. So I think it's it's not really like, although I'd prefer to have a cam just to have it be more friendly and more like personal. You know, it's kind of more personal when there's a cam, but I don't think the viewers really care that much one way or another. So
Yeah. Do you think the rise in popularity of podcasts, for example, has something to do with the acceptance of streamers having no cam?
yeah, I think so. I mean, probably anybody who's listening to this right now is like playing a game or doing something, right? They're listening to it while multitasking.
They're
Right?
driving
And the same
home or
thing-
something. Yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing happens in the stream. I would say the majority of people in any stream, but especially my stream because I stream late night, are lurking or trying to sleep or, you know, getting work done or something. So streams and YouTube have become kind of almost podcast-esque, where they look when there's something interesting happening, but they don't always like focus on the video. So I don't for that reason, I think cam matters even less now than it used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way that which people consume information is changing too. Like how you just said, it's like we are kind of shifting to this audio because we're trying to do 18 things at once versus like sitting down, watching one thing and just staying there for a while.
And the internet has really destroyed my attention span. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, existing for so much time on the internet has definitely made me like less interested in sitting down and like enjoying a movie, for example. It's like 2 hours. I gotta sit still for 2 hours and not.
Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah.
hardest thing. I hate it. Like I want to be able to watch a 2-hour movie without even thinking about my phone. What I try to do is like I leave it in my bedroom or something. I have to. If I leave it beside me, I'm just gonna be drawn to it all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like I but it's also the reality of the world. I mean, you know, I don't know how to what's the solution to it. I think to each their own, right? I mean, everybody, like, you know, some people don't mind multitasking all the time. For me, I need some time like to just focus on one thing, right? That's what I want. But
I mean,
it
it's
becomes
really
a struggle.
Yeah, it's really good to unplug sometimes and just, you know, take a walk or like,
Yeah,
you know,
I was
draw
gonna
or
say
whatever,
absolutely.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Go leave your phone at home and take a walk. You know, just listen to the city. You know, like just look around. And I think that, you know, I don't want to preach, but that's something I want to do for myself. I can say that. I do think it's, for me, it's something, it's healthy for me to be able to do that. Nice. And so today I want to touch a subject we haven't touched yet on the podcast, because it's about, you know, content creation and so on. But you told me last week that when we were chatting together that you're into crypto.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious to hear your thoughts on crypto right now. I'm very curious about crypto myself.
You're curious, but you don't know much about it, but you're.
I know more than most. I would say
I know about nothing. I'll say Xavier knows a fair bit, but I know close to 0%. So
Yeah, I mean,
I think the best way to start though would be to, can you explain, if some listeners are really not familiar with crypto, right? Like they've heard the name and they're like, what the heck is this? Can you explain to them in a nutshell what crypto is?
Yeah. So there are various. I mean, it would take, you know, an hour to really explain, but
if not 10,
I guess to really to sum it up. I think, well, first of all, people's perception of what crypto is very tends to be very skewed because they think in terms of Bitcoin mostly, and also maybe they've heard of like Dogecoin or some of those coins that Elon Musk tweets about. So,
Yeah.
but really,
The meme coins.
what exactly? But that's really just like one way that crypto is used, that crypto technology is used. So the main thing to know about crypto is that it uses blockchain technology, where you have computers, but there's various ways to do it. This is why it's complicated, right? But for Bitcoin, for example, you have computers, huge mining setups that will be performing algorithms to basically verify these transactions that are happening using Bitcoin, and they're all posted on the ledger on the blockchain, so that everything is public knowledge. Everything is being checked by by thousands of different computers. So basically, it's like a foolproof way to record transactions. But more
If
than
I'm not
that,
mistaken, they use proof of work.
well, that's proof of work. What I'm
That's proof
describing.
of work, yeah.
There's many others actually. Most
Proof of stake, I think, yeah.
Proof of stake is yeah, and that would probably take too long to get into.
Yeah, let's not.
But I mean the short version is that most coins now that are blowing up are actually using the technology for more than just like making transactions. They're actually using it for NFTs. That's the one you'll hear a lot about. Games like Axie Infinity. There's identity verification. Like there's all sorts of things that you can do with this, because it's basically a way to record information in a database without having one central entity control it, without having someone control that information, and without allowing that information to be hacked. So we just had a huge Facebook breach, right?
Yeah.
And if that were on the blockchain, not that there is a real social media app on the blockchain yet, but if there were something on the blockchain, that would be basically impossible for anyone to breach and get everyone's information, because everyone's information is decentralized. It's just in their own.
They would need to hack everybody.
Right.
Basically.
They need to hack each user individually. So.
Yeah, it's really complicated, and that's one of the big thing with crypto. I think is, I spent hours. I mean, and I'm talking probably hundreds of hours researching crypto and looking at different technologies and coins, and I still feel like I'm really far behind.
For sure, yeah, for sure.
And,
I mean,
it's for mainstream. We're not there yet. Like it's not
No.
it's not gonna be a mainstream thing for a while, just because it's so hard to understand the technology.
Agreed.
It's like trying
hard
to
to
explain
use-
internet in 1992 to someone, or 1985, if you will.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to use. It's kind of hard to explain. But eventually, I think it has that potential to be like the next internet, because there's already a streaming service on it. There's actually like a gaming streaming service on the blockchain already.
Yep.
There's like a music service.
Audius, is that
all
it,
this,
right?
Yeah.
Audius,
So
yeah.
there's a ton of stuff. As far as the music side, it's really cool because the creator gets everything, right? Like there's no record label, so it's kind of like you're selling your songs as NFTs, so the creator gets everything that they deserve.
Royalties,
So,
basically, yeah. It's like
Right,
NFTs, right? They get like X amount of percent
Yep.
every time an NFT is sold or resold, even. So
Yep.
they always keep that royalty going, which is just great. To me, it's revolutionary, and I think we're
Yeah.
just touching the. We're just starting. Obviously,
Yeah.
this is a revolution, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But,
cutting out middlemen, cutting
yeah.
out banks. Because, for example, banks, what's the purpose of a bank? What does a bank actually do? Like all a bank really does is store your money, right? It stores your money so that you're not afraid of like getting robbed or having your money taken away somehow. So crypto does that inherently, and as long as we can make it more user friendly, it's more secure than a bank, and it's I mean, currently it's appreciating in value, but I don't know. It's just a way to cut out the middleman and have this guaranteed trust in the technology, because the technology's anonymous. It's not gonna
Yeah.
screw you over. It's not gonna get hacked. So
I think that people are going to adopt, and it's already started, but Bitcoin, maybe they're going to buy some Ethereum, maybe they're going to buy some Dogecoin just because it's kind of mainstream knowledge, I guess, at this point. Not it's the most valuable coin out there. It is a meme coin after all, but and then you got like AMC's CEO saying they might accept Dogecoin as payment for going to the movies or something. I mean, I don't know. Let's not get into this, but like the bottom line is I feel like there's so many companies out there, there's so many coins out there. It's very volatile, and
Yep.
I think it scares people off. And I think when people are willing to invest in crypto, they might just go for Bitcoin or Ethereum or something that they really feel more has more credibility in a way than things like Algorand, who I think to me it's very interesting, but like someone needs to kind of do a lot of research to get into something like this.
Yes, that's the smart thing to do anyway. Is just Bitcoin, especially Bitcoin is very safe compared to everything else. But really though, instead of thinking of it as an investment, like instead of thinking I want to invest in crypto, think like how you're going to use it. Like think of ways that you can use it. You can already like I said, you can buy music on there. You can watch streams, although I doubt that there are that many streamers on it. But you can use it. You can play games on there. So if you're interested in crypto, I would say rather than view it as a money making opportunity, view it as something to get in on the ground floor, buy an NFT that you like or whatever, and just use it. Use the technology. That's how we're going to grow it in the first place, right? It's not just a speculative market. It's actually being used. So
who knows what's going to be around in 2, 3, 5 years, 10 years, right? But we know that Bitcoin is going to be around. That's the only thing we know for sure. Even Ethereum is getting competition.
The whole landscape will be different.
What
people always say is like, why do we need another currency? Like, why do we need to replace fiat currency? Which I won't get into that really, but it's kind of true because Bitcoin is really the currency of crypto. Like Bitcoin is the one currency that you can use to transact and exchange with everything. So it's that's why like there aren't a ton of competitors to Bitcoin in that space. Like Doge is similar and it has no uses besides being transactional, but Doge is a meme and doesn't really have any value in my opinion. But most coins are actually, like I said, being used in some kind of project or some kind of app.
What are some of the coins that you're into right now, or that you think whether you're invested in?
Is this a crypto podcast now, or just
what's that?
This is a crypto podcast now.
Yeah, it is. But I'm interested in hearing, like, I don't want, obviously, please don't share your portfolio or whatever. But I'm just like, what are some of the coins or assets that you think are interesting right now?
For me, the biggest one is Cardano. It's basically a competitor to Ethereum, so there's all sorts of stuff that's being developed on it, just like Ethereum. It kind of does everything. But they are working on creating a network in Africa so that people in the various fractured governments can all have their identities verified on the blockchain, and students and doctors can have their credentials on the blockchain and make sure that it's safe and decentralized. So that's one thing. So they have kind of a mission. They're working on there's another project on there that's like more governmental identity verification. Going to be working with governments to like, maybe if you're at the airport, you can just like scan your phone and go through. You don't have to go through a long line and security. So I don't know, stuff like that is what they're working on. But also there's going to be some games and some NFTs and things like that.
So you're not into NFTs?
Not really. It's a space where it's kind of gambling. It's kind of just you're just hoping that and most of it looks like crap, in my opinion. I mean, some of it's really good though, like Bored Ape Yacht Club. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah, of course.
That looks really good. But a lot of them are kind of, yeah, not my thing. But if
Yeah.
you like them, I mean, that's one of the things that I tell people. Like, if you like an NFT or if you like a project, just like, just get it for yourself rather than thinking of it as something you have to make money on. Just it's something you're holding on to, and hopefully
Yeah.
it will rise in value over time. But
Yeah, there's a lot of people looking to make quick money with crypto. To me, it's still gambling.
yeah.
Might as well buy a lottery ticket.
Well,
honestly.
It'll
cost you less.
I mean, I don't think crypto. I don't think most of crypto is gambling, but I think the NFT space certainly is.
Well, the NFT space, but also like people going deeper into like looking at altcoins and wanting to get like
the
just-
small coins, the ones that are just starting up.
like wanting
Yeah, they
to
could be scams. They could be That's definitely gambling when you go that low.
That's what I'm talking about here. And I mean, of course, like if you buy Cardano, like ADA, it's not like, I mean, it's still risky, I think,
It's
right?
risky,
Compared to Bitcoin or a stock or,
But you're not worried that they're just going to take your money and they're gonna dump it and
exactly.
leave. Yeah.
Right. When you're buying like really small market cap altcoins starting out and you want to get like, because you're looking at Ethereum or even Bitcoin like 10 years ago, you're like, oh, I could have bought it for like, $50 and that, like people are looking for that 3000x investment,
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
true.
that's to me, that's gambling,
That's true. And I think that's also part of what gives a bad name to crypto alongside the, Bitcoin using so much energy and that was a problem. It's not really a problem anymore, but that was a big problem. And, so that's another thing that people don't like. And also sometimes the community is not the best. I won't, I don't want to throw any shade on the podcast, but sometimes, there's a lot of the types of people who want to accumulate a currency that's not controlled by any government think about the kind of person who buys into that at the beginning and the kind of person who's made a lot of money off of it because they bought in at the start. That kind of person is not always the kind of person that I get along with, but but when you get past that, it's a valuable technology.
No, fair enough. And I mean, it's right now there's still a lot of early adopters. I still think that if you're getting into crypto today, you're still like an early adopter in a way. You're not
still very early.
Yeah, it's still very early in this whole industry. So NFTs, like I do agree with you that I personally I'm not really into it. I do think it's great that the artists, regardless of who they are, if we think it's great art or not, it doesn't matter to me. Like to be able to give royalties to the artist when a piece is sold or resold, and to me it's revolutionary and it's great.
Yeah, forever,
which is amazing. I'm curious. Like I'm wondering if there's any use case for like content creators. Obviously like visual artists is one thing. Like music, yeah, sure, makes sense. But content creators, I'm wondering if NFTs have, I mean, could participate, could be part of content creation in a way.
Yeah, I mean, people buy like sports clips and highlights and stuff. So I guess you could have stream clips as NFTs, like interesting moments from the stream. You post as an NFT.
Yeah.
And it's one of a kind. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure that that's something that I personally would do, but there's a space for it, I think.
Would you be into video game NFTs, like official video game NFTs?
Oh, like if Nintendo published an NFT
sprites
collection
or something
or something.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. We were talking about, I know on my server we have a lot of anime fans. It's very anime centric. So we were talking about like if an anime company made an NFT project, and it would sell so well, because you think about, I don't know how much you know about anime, but Like
I know
people
some.
pay
Yeah, I
hundreds
do
of
watch
dollars.
animes once in a while. Yeah.
Okay, but people pay hundreds of dollars for like figures of characters.
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
of their waifu
course.
and whatever. So, so imagine if it's like a one of a kind. You know, the only one
Yep.
in the world of like your favorite character. I mean, the amount people would pay for that is insane. I think so. Yeah, I think it'll happen. Already, there's what was it? I don't play all these games like Neopets. I think I don't play these pet games, but I think it's Neopets that's doing an NFT project based on their IP. So already you're getting a little bit of that.
Any games that right now you're talking about games like you talked about Axie Infinity, I think, right? Which
Yep.
blew up recently. That's a project that if you invested like a little while back, you made some money.
Yep.
Any games that you've looked at or played or tried that you think are on something like onto something?
I've played like 7 or 8 of them. There's not very many out right now, but
Yeah.
I've played a handful of them to see if any were good, and they're not. I think like, to be honest, it's so early.
Yeah.
You know, people are basically it's like
We're like in
a
the
lot of them-
Intellivision era right now, right?
yeah. I mean, a lot of them are kind of like homework project
Yeah.
standards. Axie is probably the only one that really stands out. I think there's one that's like a Stardew Valley kind of game that's coming out, but I forgot what it's called. But yeah, for the most part, I think we're gonna see especially like mobile game companies enter that space within the next few years and make better games. Like if you imagine what Genshin Impact would look like on the blockchain, if your character was an NFT, if you could actually like, you know, if you could actually add like weapons and armor and power ups to it, and that character was something that you grew with, and obviously you could maybe grow it for free or pay just like any mobile game, right? But it would be your NFT. It would be like your personalized one of a kind avatar. So I think
A
that
game
kind
like-
of thing is definitely like MMOs. That kind
Yeah,
of thing
like
is
or
definitely-
Diablo. I was thinking Diablo. Imagine
Yep.
if Diablo had like NFTs, like your gear, your skins, whatever, you know, it was yours, and it would be randomly generated. I'm sure Blizzard,
Yeah.
Activision have deep enough pockets to make that happen, and
Yep.
it would just generally randomly generate different skins based on different everything, your colors and little shimmers and little everything, you know.
Yeah,
That could be
yeah.
cool.
I think stuff like that would be really cool.
I don't
mean,
know if
that's
they
really
would want to get into it since they removed the auction house. You know, remember when? Yeah. So I don't know if they would specifically want to do that, but I think a game like this could work.
Yeah, and I mean that's for card games too, like collectible card games. You can have, I mean, because a card if you collect like Magic cards, they essentially are NFTs. They're not one of a kind, but there's a limited supply of them, and you collect them and make a deck with them. And so that's also I think a natural place for the space to develop.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, sports cars, they do that like physically as well. You get 1 out of 25 special edition card of whoever, you know. Yeah, doesn't need to be one of one, you know. Obviously, if you do, it'd be more valuable because it's unique.
Yeah, you can mint thousands. You don't have to just mint one. Like most NFT projects are just one, but like one of each. But you can definitely do more.
So if Nintendo, just to get back to that question, if Nintendo made an NFT project, would you be into it?
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. Which
NFT would you buy from Nintendo?
What would I buy? I probably wouldn't be able to afford it. I mean, I would.
Well, okay, let's say you have
like,
$1 trillion.
If I wanted Link or something, it'd probably be.
Would that be
$1 million.
Link? Yeah, would you go for Link?
Yeah, I mean, if I had like $1 million to spend on it, which is probably what it would cost, but.
Which Link from what game?
I like the old school. Like my favorite is Link to the Past. Of the Zelda games, but I played some of the newer ones. But yeah, when I was a kid, that was like my favorite video game. That and Mega Man were like my 2 favorite video games.
Nice. All right, you can have Link to the Past. I'll have Ocarina of Time Link NFT.
Okay.
We can. No dispute there. We're good.
Maybe Yoshi.
Yoshi. Okay, interesting. Interesting. That could be a good one as well. What do you hope happens with the video game industry, and crypto NFTs in the future? What do you hope it happens?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's not gonna replace like the current way of buying video games or anything, but I think mostly for live service games, that's like you said, like with games where you're constantly getting loot, you're constantly updating your character, updating your roster, anything like that where it's kind of malleable. I think that's like the place where NFT technology is at its best, because you literally have a digital object and apply some kind of transformation to it instead of I don't know. I mean, it's what video games are already doing, but it's just more like you own it. So it gives you more ownership. If the game closes down, you still own it. In some cases, you can imagine like a game closing down and the stuff like increases in value because now you can't get it anymore. Yep. So just because, it's like I can think of my like my Arknights account or something, my mobile game account. If the game closes, then it's all worthless. But if it's on the blockchain, I have it. I have it forever. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And even if you can't use it, there's a value. I mean, I'm a collector myself. I collect video games, and I do have the consoles to play them, but I know like people buy brand new, like graded games. They're never gonna open the case. Of course, obviously, they're just gonna leave it in there. They have the game, right?
Grading is like. I don't know. Are we going to get into that? Grading is like a big scam. I don't know if we.
Okay, sure. I mean, I'm listening.
No, I mean, people collected video games long before grading, right? But then these companies come in and basically appraise it, and the standards are not really enforced between games. Like what games get an A+ versus a regular A or whatever score. There's not really because there's pictures people post of these games that are clearly in much worse condition, but getting a higher score from these grading companies. So it's dubious that they even do anything in the first place. And even if they do, it's like people before grading companies existed, people just use their eyes. I mean, there's nothing wrong with using your eyes, inspecting it yourself, and buying it, and you don't get the huge markup because the grading company charges you hundreds of dollars to grade your games just so that you can sell them. And like that makes up the bulk of the cost. Also,
well, I mean, if you're buying on eBay, for example, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm buying from you. Where are you located, by the way?
I'm in Indiana.
Because you stream at like crazy hours.
Yeah,
I was like, is he like on the South Pacific Ocean something? I don't. Okay.
I stream in the middle of the night for me.
Okay, you're a night owl.
Yep.
Okay, good.
It's like afternoon for Europe, which most of my viewers are in Europe.
Okay, makes sense. What was I saying? Yeah, so like let's say I want to buy from you. I can't necessarily. I'm in Montreal, Canada, so I can't really go down to your place to check out the game you have. So having a graded game, what I'm saying is, it gives me an idea of what I'm buying. Now, I personally, I'm not into grading, and I've never bought a graded game. I'm not looking to do that. I even don't really care about like sealed games, because I'm buying games, or I bought games for like to be able to play them. Right. I understand why people would buy sealed games and stuff like that, but personally, like, I'm not really into it. But I'm just saying it does give at least an idea of the type of quality or condition an item is in when you don't have the chance to go and look at it really, like, yourself in person.
Yeah, so I mean, the problem... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so as someone that doesn't know a ton about this, like, what are they graded on? Is it, like, literal physical qualities?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the condition of the box, basically. And just making... I guess they verify that it's actually the game, and that, I mean, they do their best to make sure that it's real, not a counterfeit.
Interesting.
But, I mean, the problem with grading is that after the grading becomes, like, meta, let's say, when everybody is grading their games... Nobody buys games that are not graded, and therefore the value of the grading becomes like immeasurable. Like a game that isn't graded is worthless, right? And when that happens, the grading company can start charging more, and they do, and they start low, and then they start charging more and more because people won't even purchase games that aren't graded by them, and it's like one company that has this monopoly on.
Yeah, I somewhat disagree though with that. Because I mean it's very personal. I'm not saying like the masses don't think like that, but I certainly don't. I care about condition, but I don't want to buy graded stuff because I want to be able to, have it in my hands, open the case. Again, I want to be able to play the game. So I think there's a market for that. I can't be the only one out there caring about the condition, but not wanting a graded game.
Yeah.
So I think there's a market. I do think it has an impact on the value and the market as a whole, and for sure, like they basically created a market that didn't exist. But yeah, I still buy games, and I look at condition as very important to me. Well, when I used to buy games, I don't really anymore. But when I used to buy games, I would always look at the condition. It's very important to me.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people in the space that are basically, pumping the price. They're just treating it like a commodity, where it's like, well, look at this game. It's worth. I forgot how much this copy, I think it was Super Mario Brothers, or was it 64? It was one of the Mario games that sold for like hundreds of thousands of dollars, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which is ridiculous. I mean, no matter whether you're a collector, whether you're a fan of the series or not, that's just like a ridiculous amount of money to pay for a game. You know. It doesn't make any sense, and it's just because there's a lot of people saying that it's worth this much, and if enough quote experts who have skin in the game say that something is worth this much, then all of a sudden it is worth that much, and that's basically what that's what that whole space is now. It's hard for anyone who legitimately wants to collect games to actually collect the games. Because everything is pumped to
the price absolutely, it's crazy now for sure. Which is one of the reasons why I don't buy games anymore.
Yeah. And NFTs honestly are the same thing right now. Like that's why, because even if you like an NFT, it'll still cost you like.
Oh yeah, you need to dish out. Oh yeah,
a couple thousand, $1,000, which is.
Oh, even sometimes it's like less, but like it's still a few $100. $300-$400. At the very least. And that's like that doesn't mean it's a great project either. It's just a floor price of getting an NFT. But to your point about the video game collection industry, I guess, or I could say, isn't it the same with art though? Like art is to me, it's very similar. Like I was on Reddit, I think it was last night. I was looking at a post, and it was like a Basquiat painting, which I thought was pretty awesome. And it's like the post was saying like it's sold for 41 million or something like that.
Right.
And like people in the comments were like, oh, it looks like a kid's drawing or something. I'm like yeah, like you could have the same argument for art. I love Basquiat, and I love the art that he's done in his lifetime, and to me, like I'm curious about visual arts in general. Not everybody are, and that's fine, but like, is it really worth $41 million, right? At the same time,
I mean, it is to somebody, I guess. It's
exactly, but it's the same thing for the games, right? Like so somebody buying a 10 out of 10 PSA whatever copy of a game, to them it's worth whatever amount they end up paying for it, and it's yes. I guess it's their problem, not mine. I mean, what I mean?
I don't think anyone is, and that's true, but I don't think anyone's praising the art industry and like art auctions either for being transparent and for being free of any interference. So like,
For sure.
the art like that's a space where there's a ton of shady stuff going on. So
no, for sure, but it's just people get also like the sports cards industry has blown up.
It blew up
during the pandemic. It's absolutely nuts. Michael Jordan's cards, Mike Trout,
Kobe Bryant, I think is the most valuable now. But yeah,
I mean, I don't know. We can name a few that you end up having to pay hundreds, if not millions of dollars. I mean, I was going to say hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. To me that's pretty nuts, and people are nuts. I think that's it for this podcast. People are nuts. Thank you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah, the people with tons of money. Well, I mean, and this is kind of, this is getting even further off the deep end here. But like people with a ton of money, there's like a huge gap between how much money those people have and how much money we have, like regular people have. So there's really, if those people are willing to spend their kind of money on stuff like this, on art and NFTs, there's really no way for like regular people to approach it. I mean, it's just like nobody can compete with that. Nobody. If a billionaire decides that something is worth $10 million, it's like pocket change to him. But most people can't afford it. So, and then that pumps the price of everything that's similar. So, it starts to become contagious.
Let's go back to streaming for a second here, because we've talked about crypto. We've talked about collectibles. I know,
it's a crypto podcast. It's
podcast, collectibles podcast, money podcast, and we are rebranding. So what's happening with Celerity in the coming months and years? Like, what can people expect from you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, in terms of games, there's a lot of big games coming up in the next month, there's 2, which is a lot, I guess, for me. But Darkest Dungeon 2 is coming out, and also Gloomhaven, the I don't know if you played the board game. It's a digital adaptation of a really popular board game.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay, both of those are coming out in October, so we're going to be playing a lot of that. As far as the stream in general, I mean, we're just kind of chilling. Yeah, I've been doing this for about 3.5 years, so at this point, major changes aren't too frequent. I am probably going to get YouTube soon though. Mm-hmm. I don't have a YouTube, which is rare, I think, but YouTube is so important now for Twitch streamers. It's
helped us with discovery for sure.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
YouTube is
it's
a better,
almost required, I think.
Yeah. If you want to get discovered, Twitch is still, it's better than it used to be, but it's still
difficult
for most. You're lucky you have, a lot of people watching you, but in general, if you're smaller and whatnot, like Twitch is a bit more difficult to get discovered.
It's feast or famine. If you're on, I mean, if you're at the top of whatever category, then you're going to get discovered, and if you're not, then you won't. I mean, it's But YouTube just has a much bigger audience. So I think every streamer, I guess that's my one piece of streaming advice for this podcast. I think it's really important if you're a streamer on Twitch to get on YouTube, because even a small content creator, like someone with like 500 subscribers, that's YouTube subscribers, like followers on Twitch. Someone really small like that can still get favored by the algorithm, and it'll recommend your video, and you'll get 100,000 views. Like that happens. I've seen so many people go from being really small on YouTube to blowing up, and then having 3,000-4,000 viewers on their Twitch stream. So it's really important. You're kind of playing the lottery, but at the same time, like you can't win if you don't play. So
no, of course.
So I think it's important.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to simplify the whole thing, you just simply put your VODs on YouTube.
Yes.
That's one way. And some people, they just prefer that way. Some viewers, they prefer to decide when they're watching a stream. The VOD system on Twitch is not necessarily as good as YouTube. I don't know. I'm not going to go into it.
It's not. I don't think it is. I mean,
yeah. So, and just some people are just more YouTube people than Twitch still today. So it's part of their daily routine to go on YouTube, not necessarily on Twitch, and that's the way it is, and that's fine like that. So I think it does make sense. So that's great. Are you going to be posting VODs, or are you going to do exclusive stuff on YouTube?
It'll be from stuff from the stream, probably pretty uncut, because it's hard to find an editor who knows how to edit all these games. Some of these games I've never played before, so how are they gonna know what's important and what's not important? So I just throw the whole thing up.
Yeah, I agree. Could be very difficult indeed. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to you some more soon, working on some campaigns together, and maybe do another crypto podcast episode.
You can have me out. We just do a weekly crypto podcast, and you can, rebrand this one. I mean,
there you
go. And where can people find you too?
Just twitch.tv/Celerity.
Easy. Great.
I'm on Twitch. I'm on Discord. I don't use Twitter. I'm not a Twitter user. So
Okay. Interesting.
yeah, just Discord is my social media.
Cool.
Very
Sweet.
cool.
Thanks.
Check him out. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. It was
Thanks.
good talking to you.